Oh, you got it? You got an appointment?
Yeah, at the pharmacy.
Nice. That's great. Oh, there he comes.
Well, it's great to be here in Brevard County at Eau Gallie High School. I want to thank Richard Corcoran, Superintendent Mullins, also Bill McInnish, who works here and is doing a great job for being here. It's a great announcement today. We think this is a great place to make this announcement because if you look at the hangar we're standing in, you have students in Brevard County that are learning the technical skills for aviation maintenance and fabrication, but this is just one of 7 career and technical programs. So we also have President Ritchie. Where is he up here? Is it? Okay, yeah, just Eastern. Thanks for Eastern Florida State College. So it's just one of 7 career and technical programs offered here. Others include outboard marine service technology. There's a lot of money in that, especially in this state with everybody having these boats, and automotive maintenance and repair. Brevard County is partnered with Eastern Florida State College, Embraer, and the Orlando Melbourne International Airport to offer these innovative programs for the students here. We're on the Space Coast, and obviously there's a lot of great stuff going on with aviation technology. So these students right now getting these skills, they're going to be able to have some really, really good jobs without having to go tens of thousands of dollars in debt in the process. So over the last several weeks, we've been rolling out a number of proposals using the federal funds that Florida's received to advance things like infrastructure, support of first responders, and to further propel our economy, which many people would wish they would have what Florida's doing. We actually have people opening new businesses here. We actually have people hiring people. Our unemployment rate's much less than the national average and way less than a lot of the lockdown states like California and New York. Today, though, we think we can build off this momentum. And I'm somebody who, while I value the importance of some of the university-based education, I also look around and see the fact is in this last generation, you have a lot of people that have gone deep into debt to go to these traditional universities. They end up studying things that don't have as much application in the real world. And look, if you're studying like a liberal arts and you're really learning to think well, at some of these schools, you're going to be fine. But I think we know we have some of these schools where some of these majors just aren't really producing very much. So you have some of these students end up deep in debt and they don't really have great career prospects. So from the very beginning of my administration, I said we need to reinvigorate the idea of vocational, technical, and career education. And so when we first came into office, we issued an executive order that with the goal that Florida would be the #1 state in the nation for workforce education by 2030, and also to ensure that Florida students are prepared to fill high-demand, high-wage jobs of today and the future. And we've already taken steps in that direction. We've boosted computer science education and professional developments in our schools. We've established the Pathways to Career Opportunities grant program to establish or expand apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs. I know a number of schools throughout Florida have embraced that, and that's really good. That offers those students great opportunities. We've also increased opportunities to Floridians to earn short-term credentials in high-demand fields through the Rapid Credentials program. And then we've also launched the Get There Florida initiative and website to raise awareness of short-term but high-value career and technical education programs. I really believe you can acquire some of these really important skills without having to be in a university setting for 4 years. And fortunately, sometimes, you're looking at relatively short-term programs can have very high yield returns for people. And to be 20 years old and to be making $70,000, $80,000 a year with people in these fields with no debt because you didn't have to go to an expensive college, and then a lot of these people end up being able to start their own businesses. It really creates a lot of opportunities for a lot of folks. And so it's our goal that as people come to Florida, as people are expanding businesses, people are looking at Florida as a place to start new businesses, people want to purchase homes, they're building homes, all these different things. There's going to be a need for people to have some of these skills, which really will end up being high-wage jobs, and will continue to be. So that's why we're today recommending to the legislature. We mentioned some of the stimulus money that we're getting for Florida. Now we get disadvantaged in this because our unemployment rate's so much lower. They actually give billions of dollars more to states that have high unemployment, and billions of dollars less to Florida because we have lower unemployment. And so you're actually rewarding states that did some of these ineffective lockdowns that have caused a lot of problems, and they're doing that. So be that as it may, we don't have as much as our per capita would be, but we put out a recommendation, not even for the full 9 or 10 billion, but we said here's about $4 billion worth of recommendations. And we mentioned that we wanted to do some of that money for workforce education and career education. And so we want to continue that momentum. And so today I'm proposing $75 million for the creation of Get There Faster initiatives to be administered by the Department of Education for current high school students and those out of high school to pursue areas of high demand, high skill vocations. In that effort, I'm asking the legislature to include these programs in this year's budget using some of the federal funding we've received over the past year due to the coronavirus pandemic. Now, the Get There Faster initiatives includes 2 programs. The Get There Faster Technical Prep and Work-Based Learning Initiative for current high school students, and the Get There Faster Post-Secondary Workforce Initiative for Florida adults with or without a high school degree. Now, the Technical Prep and Work-Based Learning Initiative funds include $50 million from the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund, which we call ESSER, and the Post-Secondary Workforce Initiative funded by $25 million from the Governor's Emergency Education Response Fund. We call that the GEAR Fund. And again, those were both through some of the more recent federal relief bills, although not the most recent one. Now, the Get There Faster initiatives will support those learners in workforce training programs, technical schools, and work-based learning opportunities with Florida businesses by providing wraparound services and covering costs not accounted for by traditional financial aid. These programs should place a particular emphasis on work-based learners and career training programs that allow students and adults to earn while they learn. My view is getting kids in jobs, being able to actually serve as an apprentice while you're in school even, you end up being able to learn on the job and potentially have a pathway to get a full-time job when you graduate from high school. So we think that these are going to be really good for a lot of Florida students. We think it provides more opportunities. And my view is if you want to do something requiring a traditional university education, by all means, we want to help folks do that. But we also understand that those 4-year brick and ivy universities, while one way to potentially advance yourself, are not the only way, and for many students, certainly not the best way. And so we're creating more and more viable pathways that provide students with the skills that they can then turn into strong livings and high wages. Now, for the Get There Faster Technical Prep and Work-Based Learning Initiative, I recommend $50 million dedicated to covering the cost for high school students to participate in workforce college credit, career dual enrollment, or work-based learning opportunities. We think that this is something that can really aid in a lot of the different costs, transportation, program fees, books, materials, any of these things that could potentially stand in the way of a low-income student from participating in some of these apprenticeship, pre-apprenticeship, or work-based learning opportunities. We want to make sure that every student that is qualified to be in a career dual enrollment program has the opportunity to do so and is not burdened by ancillary costs that can make or break their ability to learn technical skills that will help them achieve a future of self-sufficiency. Now, eligible students must be dually enrolled at a Florida college system institution or district or charter technical career center, and must be further enrolled in a career and technical education or workforce program that leads to a credential of value to employers in the workforce. Now, for our adult learners and students enrolled in workforce programs at a Florida college system institution or district technical center, $25 million is provided for Get There Faster post-secondary workforce initiative to support adult learners pursuing in-demand and high-value career and technical education or work-based learning opportunities. This will help remove the financial barriers adult students are faced with when seeking in-demand and high-value career and technical education or training. This program would aim to cover the gap between non-loan-based financial aid and the cost of tuition, fees, and related expenses for Florida residents enrolling in post-secondary level apprenticeships or work-based learning programs. So similar to some students, there are Floridians who are eager to pursue the training and education necessary to launch or jumpstart their career, but the costs not covered by financial aid place too large of a burden. So we want to make sure that those adult learners, people who are already out of high school, also have the ability to do it. So we're rolling this out as an initiative that we're asking the legislature to provide authorization for. Now, theoretically, and I know Richard and I discussed, I mean, we could probably spend this under emergency authority, but because the legislature's in, we think we want to be able to work with them. And I think that what we're proposing today is very much in sync with what Senate President Wilton Simpson has been advocating to make sure that we're providing people the tools to be able to earn a really, really good living. You know, you have some of these folks who will go, they'll try to get like the university degree, they'll end up going deep into debt, the seas don't part for them, and they really struggle. Whereas you have some of these kids, you know, they're getting these great skills, they're going in, and man, there's a demand for that. And then you end up seeing the wages and the salaries go up more and more. You have some of these folks that are making six figures, you know, by the time they're in like their early 20s. And so that is something that we want people to understand. And what I also want to do is not have there be any type of stigma about going into like a workforce training program vis-a-vis a university. You're not any better because you're going to a university than anybody else. In fact, a lot of these folks who are doing the career way and getting these vocational skills are doing financially very well and have the opportunity to do very well. So these are opportunities we want. We want people to be able to choose what makes the most sense to them. But I really believe these initiatives build off some of the great success that we're seeing in Florida. And I think we can hopefully take it to the next level. So we're excited about doing this. We think as you look around the state and the different things that we're looking to make an impact on, obviously things like infrastructure, obviously we have to continue with disaster response. We need to continue doing things to stay ahead of the curve, such as with our resiliency programs that we're rolling out. But this workforce education, I think, can continue to separate Florida from some of the many other states. So I'm thankful for Richard Corcoran for working with us on here, on these initiatives, and I want to bring him up to say a few words.
Thank you. I'll start by saying that this is a fantastic initiative. You know, we've talked a bunch at different press conferences, and we quote Frederick Douglass, and he says, "What is education?" And he goes, "Education is freedom." And what you're hearing today is going to give tens of thousands of Floridians not only economic freedom, but it helps them become better citizens, better community leaders. So what we're doing is we're saying, if you look at the pandemic and you look at what is the enrollment of first time in college, down, everything's down. But you look at the things that we really care about and watch, first time college students down the most. Adult learners down the most. We have 1.8 million people in the state of Florida who don't have a high school diploma. And during this pandemic, they're making these choices of, okay, I got to feed my family. I got to pay my rent. I got to do these things. I don't have time to go out there and try to get upskilled and get these terrific credentials of value. On top of that, it might be as little as a parking fee at a college or a uniform fee or whatever it is, and they go, I don't have the money, I'm scraping by. So what this is these Get There scholarships reach into the high school population. Kids who are thinking, I don't really think I'm college ready or what have you, and that's okay, but now we're going to make sure that they get these dual enrollment, clock hour, upskill credentials of value, so now they can immediately be marketable out in the workforce. And for our adult learners, we have, of that 1.8 million, a lot of them don't even have GEDs. And if you don't have a GED, you can't go ahead and enroll in one of these programs and be Pell Grant eligible. So what this does is it gives them a scholarship. Whatever it is that's keeping you from getting that credential of value, we're going to cover it. And then once they do that and they're in the college system and now they're going to get their remedial math and their remedial English, they'll get their GED, and then they're Pell eligible and they can finish all the way through with that credential, and it's stackable, so now they can get 1, 2, 3, and now they're completely certified. And as the governor said, now you got people out there, you're talking about 7-figure difference in income during the course of their life. It's that much of a game changer. And so what we're doing here is we're saying, you know, we have a decline of almost 50,000 students in both college and tech in adult learners. That's, you know, now those people are going to be able, those 50,000, be able to go out there, get the credential, get that increase in income, get that absolute self-esteem, that freedom that Frederick Douglass talks about, and be able to go out there and chart a different course, not only for them families, but for their communities in our state. And I think it's an excellent proposal. Certainly, I think the governor said it. President Simpson in the Senate has led on this. This is something that he is spot on right about, and we are hopefully that the legislature will grab hold of it, grab hold of these tens of thousands of students and learners, and help them not only have a great career and a great outcome and a great credential, but be lifelong learners and great citizens too. So thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Eau Gallie High School, Brevard County. Governor DeSantis, thank you for visiting. It's always great to have you on the Space Coast. I want to thank both the Governor and the Commissioner for the work that has been done to keep our schools open this year. Through all the challenges, it's been important to keep our kids in Brevard Public Schools classrooms and on track and leading towards graduation. And we understand no greater than now how important that has been. We appreciate your leadership over the past year in helping ensure that the education future of our kids. Thank you. Brevard Public Schools Career and Technical Education Department, in conjunction with our local Economic Development Commission, Career Source, as well as Eastern Florida State College, are working to support priority sectors in our community. Governor, I'm pleased to tell you that Brevard County is committed as a community to support your goal of making Florida #1 in workforce by 2030. We think the program here at Eau Gallie High School is a step in the direction of supporting the state's priorities and meeting workforce needs. And we hope you have all enjoyed getting a chance to see our one-of-a-kind program here at Eau Gallie. Now, you might think that's a bold statement, but the fact is our aviation program truly is one of a kind, not just in Brevard or even in the state. It's one of a kind in the nation. Brevard Public Schools aviation program has the only certified aerospace aircraft assembly program at the high school level. Here at Eau Gallie, our CTE programs include air, land, and sea. From the aviation assembly program to automotive maintenance to our marine service technology. Essentially, if you can fly it or you can drive it on the road or even on the water, our kids here in this program have you covered. We are very proud of our CTE programs and the opportunities across the district, and certainly thrilled at the prospect of this new opportunity to enhance those opportunities, particularly those work-based opportunities for our CTE kids. Eau Gallie is just one example of what has been happening in our schools, and I do want to take this opportunity to recognize our school board, as they deserve a lot of the credit. They have supported CTE for several years, seeing the importance of diversifying educational options, knowing that as we serve our community, we had to meet the needs of our kids while also that of our local workforce. Our school board's leadership and vision for the county has kept CTE growing. So some examples. We now have a construction program in several of our schools. Our Teacher Academy program has expanded through the partnership of Eastern Florida State College. We have our first welding program at Astronaut High School. As a district, we also have enhanced some CTE programs that have allowed us to continue to capitalize on our partnership with Eastern Florida, as well as businesses like Embry Air Jets, who is a partner with this school and this program. So there are now 42 unique CTE programs across our high schools, which we think makes Brevard Public Schools truly the best educational option and experience in the county. But we're not done. Next year, we will launch a cybersecurity program at Titusville High School. We're working to establish a pre-apprenticeship program in manufacturing, and confident that that'll happen very soon, and with this prospect, even more exciting. It's important to know that BPS isn't just about high school students in CTE as well, because we're also diversifying middle school CTE options as well. So as an example, we're adding high school credit options in information technology, which obviously is a priority sector here in our community. That means our middle schoolers can have more high school credit opportunities even before entering the 9th grade. And we're exploring digital tools at the elementary level, as our goal is to continue to increase rigor for our elementary students, something that we will pilot in this coming year. Internships, another area of growth. Currently, we have 4 students with the Brevard County government system. 2 are in their facilities program, 1 in automotive fleet repair, and the 4th in the permitting office. We also have interns working internally in Brevard Public Schools, and we're expanding that program this summer and excited that we'll be offering internships to over 25 students right within Brevard Public Schools. So the reality is that internships aren't just for college students anymore. When our kids graduate, nearly 50% leave with at least one of 82 industry certification credentials available, thanks to our CTE programs. This gives our kids an early start in the job market and helps keep qualified workers right here in Brevard County. And there is one more new program I'd like to tell you about, very exciting. An example of going from high school into the workforce. Through our great partnership with L3 Harris, they've agreed to hire 8 CTE students as interns upon graduation in June. The students went through a rigorous interview process. L3 Harris came back to us, said, we're so impressed, 8 is not enough. We're gonna take 10 students this summer. And the reality is those internships have the opportunity to translate into full-time jobs. It's a program we're excited about because it is a tangible example of what's possible thanks to our CTE programs, our talented instructors, and the great business partnerships we have across the district. So at this time, I'd like to have Bill McGinnis, one of our best, our aviation technology teacher here at Eau Gallie, give him the opportunity to come up and say a few words about the exciting program we have here at Eau Gallie. Mr. McGinnis?
Thank you, Superintendent. It's a privilege to teach at the only aerospace aircraft assembly program in the nation. It doesn't happen just, it takes a lot of people. Florida Space Coast EDC was the first to step up and support our program, followed by FIT and Eastern Florida State College grants, and we appreciate that. On top of that, our board, the senators, our governor, my superintendent, have supported this program all the way through and helped to bring in a lot of equipment. But it takes the business community to step up to make these things happen. Larson Motorsports donated a jet engine, $30,000 worth of jet engine. Dr. Gary over in Tampa donated the business jet. My kids earned the money to move it here over the summer. We've had many people, small businesses, step up and say, how can we support you? What do you need? And it's just been wonderful. But my parents care about something totally different. When I talk to them, I say a simple thing. My job is to get your student off of your payroll and onto somebody else's payroll. This year we're being successful. All my students are taken. Between L3 Harris, Piper, Embraer, STS Aeromod, the Air Force, the other military services, and soon to be Blue Origin and Ariane Supersonic, my kids have jobs and futures. And we're not just talking about a job at McDonald's either. We're talking about a job where a kid leaves here out of high school, goes in a job making in the mid-30s with the opportunity to move up quickly. They get things like full medical, full dental, eye care, those things that they need. They get tuition reimbursement, that thing that we don't, that us older people think about, a retirement. Those things are what they're getting coming out of high school, and that makes it special. But it takes a lot of people. And I just want to thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think you heard some of these great like to have these kids going into these places. It's really, really exciting, and I think there's only going to be more opportunities with what's going on here in the Space Coast. And I can tell you, I got people all over the country that'll write into me just saying, look, what's happening in my state's a disaster. You know, I'm considering, or some people say, I'm just going to move my business. And we get more and more interest in things like manufacturing because people understand this is a good business environment and they see what we're doing on workforce education. So you're going to have a lot of folks who are going to have some great skills to be able to do that. And as they said, you can make a really, really good living doing it. So I think that this is going to add to the great things that have been going on in Florida, and we're going to continue to do it. And then one other thing I'll just say about being in school. You know, you look around the country, you have major areas that have not had kids in school for over a year. And they're definitely not going back at this point in the spring, most likely, because the school year will basically be over by the time you even mobilize for that. So you're going to end up with a year and a half, and who knows, maybe they'll figure out a way to stretch it into 2022 with no in-person education. You know, there's going to be catastrophic consequences for that. And what I think about Florida, what these guys did at the county level, what Richard was doing to make sure that we were not going to leave our kids behind. We understood that this was important for them, for families. We were going to do whatever we could. But, you know, I have people come up to me and stop me who are teachers thanking me for pushing to open the schools. You look at some of these other states, some of these people in education are fighting to keep the schools closed. So I think the folks in our school system in Florida, you know, have really led the way. I think that they've done a great job. And you will never probably have an opportunity to make as big a difference as you did during this school year, simply because if we had not brought kids back to school this year, if we had done the Los Angeles model or the Chicago or any of these other places where they basically just tell families you're out of luck for a year, year and a half, who knows, I think the consequences of that would have been so long lasting. And so I think they've done a lot, obviously positive good for the programs, but compared to what would have happened, man, you've saved so many people. You've saved families. You've saved students. You've kept kids on the right track. And this is something that Florida is going to be healthier and stronger as a state as a result. And had we not gone down this road, I think the consequences really would have been dire. And unfortunately, as painful as it is, I think you're going to have huge problems in these areas that have locked the kids out of school for all this long. And you know, when I talk to parents, yes, these skills are important. Yes, we're doing really well in AP. I mean, Richard knows. I mean, we're one of the top states now in passing AP exams, the academics, all that's important. But it's like the kids are happier when they have the ability to go to school. And that's something that it's hard to quantify that in terms of what effect that has on society. But I can tell you for most of the parents throughout Florida I've talked to, it's been a real godsend. So thank you guys for stepping up in difficult times and really, really making a difference. Okay, we're excited. We'll take a couple questions. Yes, ma'am.
Two-parter for you, Captain. The first, we expanded eligibility again today. We have heard of people getting extra doses at their pharmacies if they're available. Over the weekend in Orlando, we had a jazz festival where 18 and older, it was announced that you can get your vaccines, and the state vaccinated them.
The state is not. So just understand, that's the county. So the state Our role, we send vaccines to a bunch of different distribution points. Counties are one of them. We also have drive-through sites, retail pharmacies, church programs. We have the homebound seniors. So we've got a lot of different things going on. But, our executive order is 50 and up. And the reason is because, yes, Florida's led the way on vaccinating seniors. We're extremely proud to have done over 3 million seniors. We've got about 70% of all seniors in Florida have received a shot. However,